Yo, what's going on, Slugmanuts? It's your boy, Slug, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a lolcow, if you will. Nintendo's biggest lolcow, if you will, and if you haven't heard of him, it's the man, the myth, the legend, the honky himself, Harman Smith. Now, if you don't know who Harman Smith is, I will give you a little bit of a rundown before we actually dive into the meat and potatoes of this video. He is, without a doubt, the biggest Nintendo lolcow out there. I mean, just look at him. He looks like he's gonna say, "Milady, milady, can I please get a Reddit gold?" But every single video he posts is either about how Nintendo is the best thing since sliced bread, or how every other game company to ever exist is worse than Nintendo just because it's not Nintendo. And his arguments basically boil down to, I'm right because Nintendo is awesome, and you're wrong because Nintendo is awesome. But recently, our friend Harman Smith has been going on a little bit of a tirade over on the YouTube Shorts tab, and I just can't not make a video on it. I have to talk about it. Some of the stuff he talks about is just like stupid, like absolutely brain dead, like numbnut takes. So let's just jump into this, gamers.
Right now, PC pirates are seething about Nintendo Switch 2 because it is very clear that none of these games are going to be emulated on PC anytime soon.
So, first thing I want to talk about, he says that PC pirates are seething. Where is said seething? You can't just make a claim like that and then not back it up. You can't not validate a claim like that. Where is the seething? From my point of view, you are the only one that is seething, Harman Smith. Nintendo Switch 2 is a brand new console. Give me one example of a console that was able to be emulated right out of the box. Sorry, there's a massive thunderstorm coming through. I don't know if you guys just heard that, but I might die, actually. Oh my god, Harman Smith is sending the Nintendo storms after me. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. What console was ever emulatable straight out the gate? I mean, like, it took a couple years before we got stable Nintendo Switch 2, or Nintendo Switch 1, emulation to actually work stably. It took like 1 or 2 years. Like, I don't think anybody was wanting the Nintendo Switch 2 to be emulatable right out of the box. I don't think anybody expected that. So to sit here and say that PC gamers are seething because they can't pirate Nintendo games yet, it's just, I don't want to say categorically false, but it feels like it's just categorically false. Like, you're making things up. You're fighting demons.
GameCube far outperformed the PS2. All of the sales numbers that Sony released are fake. The console did not sell that many games. It did not sell that many units. It was astroturfed. It was forced. The GameCube was far more successful and far more popular worldwide.
Are you starting to see what I'm getting at? Like, Harman Smith is he's a little bit of a wacko for Nintendo, if you will. Like, again, with the unbased claims, what we have are sales numbers for PS2 that say that it sold far more than the GameCube. Actually, I think that even the original Xbox outsold the GameCube. Yeah, the GameCube sold 21 million units worldwide, and the original Xbox sold 24 million. So the, like, laughing stock of that generation, that console actually sold better. And it doesn't surprise me. You want to know why? Because the original Xbox had Halo 2, Xbox Live. What did the GameCube have? Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, freaking Mario Kart Double Dash. Like, yeah, those are all fine games, but like, the GameCube had its few Nintendo exclusives that were actually worth playing, and then it had like basically zero third-party support, or at least far less third-party support than the original Xbox or the PS2, which they got like every gap. I mean, the original Xbox even got freaking Morrowind, dude. There's a reason that these consoles sold more than the GameCubes, because all the GameCube had was GameCube. And the original Xbox and the PS2, they had good third-party stuff. And again, you're saying that the GameCube far outsold everything that generation. Where is your proof, Harman? You can't just sit in the McDonald's violating everybody's privacy while they're trying to eat their double quarter pounder with cheese and talk about how the GameCubes outsold the PS2 when it just didn't. You don't have any proof. You can't just say something like that. I mean, you can, and then you can back it up by saying, oh, it came to me in a dream, because, like, literally, I feel like that's what happened. I feel like Harman Smith, like, was sleeping, and then he had a vision. It started out as like a gray cloud, and then it started glowing brighter and brighter, and then out of nowhere, the GameCube emerged with a sales number of 80 more billion GameCubes. But that was a dream. That wasn't real life, Harman.
I have officially applied for a job at Nintendo. I'm curious how long I'm going to get through the job application process before they realize it's me.
Low-key, Harman, they'll probably just hire you off the merit that you're lying about the GameCube selling more than the PS2. That just makes Nintendo feel good, you know. You give them a little cocksuck, and they'll give you a little bit of a cocksuck.
Grand Theft Auto is a video game for little children. I wouldn't give this to preschoolers because this game is too immature and too childish even for them.
That is really rich coming from a Nintendo fanboy. Literally the game console that is meant for a predominantly child audience. And you know what? I've seen the numbers. It's like, oh, but the Nintendo child users are like, it's like a 50-50 split. Okay, but like, it's all baby games, dude. Nintendo games are baby games, and there's nothing wrong with if you like baby games, but it's baby games, okay? You're just mad that Nintendo didn't come up with the idea for GTA. That's what you're mad about. That's what you're mad about because your little fanboy Nintendo brain can't justify going out and playing GTA 5 because it wasn't made by Nintendo. Or, I mean, if you did go out and play it, you can't admit that you enjoy it because, oh no, it doesn't have Bowser's cum on it.
This may shock a lot of people, but I do make more money than Toby Fox. My books take considerably less time and effort to make, and I make more per sale.
Okay, so this is the last video I actually want to comment on, and when I was scrolling through his shorts page, I was completely taken back by this video because, one, why are you just randomly talking about Toby Fox, the Undertale guy? And two, what do you mean this guy writes books? He looks like he can't even read. So I got curious, you know, and I went to his channel description, and you know what? He's not lying. He does have an Amazon store page with books, but he's just lying about how successful his books are, just like he lies about how successful Nintendo is. Because if you look at his store page, like his most popular book only has 2 reviews, and it has a 1-star overall. So 2 people reviewed this book. 2 people gave it 1 star. You're telling me you make more than the creator of Undertale after selling 2 AI-generated books? Like, are you insane? You're just lying. I got a little curious, so I just looked to see what the book was actually about over in the overview section, and we're going to read that together right now. Will Wei had no idea what to think when a girl burst out of a moving van, but he knew what to do when 3 men came around and demand that she get back inside. Following a brutal beatdown at his hands, Will thinks the kidnapping is over, and all that is left to do is find out what to do with this girl. But as Will soon realizes, the kidnapping is more than a simple isolated incident, and the reach and control of these kidnappers extends far past what he originally thought was even possible. So, if you didn't pay attention, his book overview, you know, the thing that's supposed to sell people on buying your book, has a lot of grammatical mistakes. That's not a very good look, and I doubt that people are going to be persuaded to buy your books looking at synopsises like this. But, you know, I was curious after reading the overview, so I dug a little further and found that one of his books actually had a free sample for the first chapter. And we're going to read a little excerpt from it that I thought was particularly funny. Ugh! She clutched at her stomach mid-step, stumbling somewhat. She put on a grimace, a show of pain, and staggered forward. Plenty of people stepped right around her, paying her no mind at all. But she was a very young, very attractive girl. It did not take much time at all for her to be noticed. Now, I want you to kind of picture maybe where this takes place in the book. Maybe like the 3rd, 4th page, you know, like something obviously seems like it's going on here, right? No, this is the 2nd paragraph, my brother. Do you know anything about story writing or storytelling? Also, paying her no mind at all, but she was very young, very attractive. It did not take much time at all for someone to notice. So there was a lot of people that did not pay attention to her, but also at the same time, it took no time at all for people to actually notice her. Also, we have to add that she is very young, like 14, and this 14-year-old is super attractive. Like Harman, I really hope that an AI wrote this, because if you wrote this is insane. To put this in the 2nd paragraph of your book, it's a little baffling that you would self-report like that. At least the way that I read this, it's kind of creepy. Very young and very attractive. What do you mean very young? Because if you look at Harman, he looks like he might be late 20s, early 30s. You have no business even talking to like an 18-year-old at that age. So even best case scenario, very young being 18. That's still a little sketch, Harman. When you say very young, I'm thinking like I'm thinking like 14, 16. I'm thinking like a teenager. All right, that's about all the time I have for today. But in closing, I would like to say, guys, don't go harass Harman, okay? I like to watch his videos from afar and, watch them and do a little bit of lol. Don't go and troll Harman. I think that there might be something wrong with him, but he posts his stuff on the internet for everybody to watch, so I can make a video on it. Just don't go bully him, okay? And I know this video was a little bit different than like a gaming topic, but he is like a Nintendo fanboy, so it's kind of like gaming adjacent. If you want to see more videos kind of like this where I just talk about other gaming creators or like fanboys, let me know down in the comments. I would be willing to do that. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys later in the next video. Peace. Also subscribe to join Slug Nation.